Hey guys, I'm Matt and welcome back to RR Aquariums. Today we're going to be dealing with a topic that I feel is pretty important, especially to new people to the hobby, because it's something that I kind of overlooked as a newbie to the hobby on the saltwater side, especially coming from a freshwater side where you don't really have to worry that much about safety. And that's what this video is about, actually, by the way, is aquarium safety, not only saltwater but freshwater too. One of the things that really struck me as odd was some of the, I hesitate to call them pests, although some of them are pests, but some of them aren't. Some people disagree with me on that, like bristleworms, for instance. That's one of the things. We'll get into that in a few minutes. But the thing is, with saltwater, there are a lot of different things that can sting you. Like, not serious stings. There are some serious stuff, but they can sting you. You can get cut easily on the sharp rocks. I mean, live rock, depending on what you get, is pretty sharp in general. So you gotta watch that. There's just a whole bunch of different things, and we'll be kind of covering that. So, first off, let's start with some of the equipment that I would highly recommend getting, period. Whether you're doing a saltwater, just fish-only tank, or whether you're doing a reef tank. Obviously, some of this stuff's a little bit more important on a reef tank because you'll be dealing with corals that can sting and stuff, but still very important on fish-only tanks too. One of the things that is pretty important is a glove like this. Now, I don't know if you can see very well there, but anyways, this is a pretty heavy-duty rubber glove. Goes all the way up onto your arm and it can be cinched down, so that's good, but also it is just super heavy-duty. Nothing's going to poke you through there. You're not going to get cut on rock or anything like that. This is great for when you're setting up the aquarium, you're getting your rock in there the first time, or you're moving stuff around, or you have to get a big coral out or something like that. That's awesome. Downside to it is your hands, when your hand's in it, it's big, it's bulky, because obviously there's a bunch of air in it. It fills up, so it's kind of buoyant. There are some downsides to it. It's pretty big pain in the neck to work with, but still definitely a good thing to have for when you're doing the live rock and stuff, and nothing's going to sting you through that. Another thing here is just some simple latex or rubber gloves that are just for your hands. You can get them at dollar stores, Walmart, any place like that, pretty cheap, big box of them. They come in really handy if you're doing stuff out of your tank, like fragging. Even inside the tank I've used them before, you know, you get water in there and everything, but still, there's a lot more control, your hands are right there. Downside to it is they're easily cut, by live rock anyways. I really haven't been stung by anything through them, so I don't think that's an issue, but I'm not really sure whether a bristleworm could stick you through it or not. That's the other thing you gotta worry about when you're moving live rock. Be careful. Always wear gloves. I've seen people that don't wear gloves, and it hurts me to watch them because there are things in there such as bristleworms, which are a red worm that have like these little needle-type bristles all along their back that can sting you. I don't know if they actually sting you or they just stick into you. People said it's kind of like getting slivers. That's about what it feels like to most people. But I've never personally done it because I always wear gloves. I do not like the idea of getting stung by stuff, and I'm sure a lot of other people don't. The other thing is, when you're doing your corals, okay, and this is something that I had trouble grasping when I first got into the hobby, because it was just kind of a new idea coming from the freshwater side, but the corals, they have toxins, they have chemicals, they have stinging ability. Lots of them do, especially things like, even really common corals like zoanthids. They can have some serious neurotoxins that they can release. And I've heard of people, you know, getting some of that in an open wound and ending up in the hospital. I've heard of people fragging them and getting just a little bit of it squirt in their eye or in their mouth, and same thing in the hospital, or seriously messed up for a few hours. So, wear eye protection. I mean, the best you can get is, again, go to Walmart, dollar store, wherever you can find it, is a pair of goggles. Not like swimming goggles, but like work goggles. Probably have it in their work section, I'm not really sure, but they cover your eyes fully, that wrap around completely, and just a good tight seal all the way around your eyes so there's no chance of getting anything in your eye. The other thing you're going to want to wear is some heavier duty small gloves like these, latex or rubber, something that's not going to get easily cut through. You're also a lot of people don't cover this. I think is an important part of it, is a simple mask, like the white ones. I don't have one here with me, I wish I did, but like the white ones, just cheap disposable ones you can get that go around your face. That's going to keep anything from squirting in your mouth, in your nose, in your eye, or in any of those areas. And, I mean, trust me, you can say you'll keep your mouth shut, whatever, but there's a stance for it, and better safe than sorry, especially when you're dealing with neurotoxin. And even, I mean, it's very hard to tell which, I mean, a lot of the zoanthids people don't know about. There's just no information on them whether they actually have these neurotoxins or not. So I never feel safe even when someone says, oh, I've handled it, no problem. Even then I worry because everyone's situation is different. Everything has the potential, if you look at everything as having the potential to hurt you, then you'll be safe. So that's what this is all about, just being safe. It's a little bit of an output, but if you just think about it ahead of time and you're safe, it'll save you a lot of trouble and possibly injury. So that is basically my safety kit, hand-wise, face-wise, and whatnot. I haven't really done that much fragging since it's a new tank, so I'll definitely put together a fragging kit later on and show you guys what's in mine. But just as a just kind of a makeshift one here for getting corals and putting them in and everything, I've picked myself up some other supplies here. Needle nose pliers. These are handy for grabbing small things. You can grab some bristle worms with these, because you gotta hold on those little buggers tight when you're pulling them out. So there's that. There's also these. I'm not really sure the name, but they're just a like a wire cutting type tool. It works great for cutting little chunks of rock out or stuff like that. Another handy one is some tweezers. Those are going to help you with grabbing other small things that really your hand can't get. And last is safety with this. Now this is something that I try not to use very much in my aquarium. This one's really rusty, but it's a razor. Straight-edged razor. And while they are handy, because sometimes you got to scrape tough algae off the walls, or sometimes you got to, I don't know, cut things up. They're handy to have, don't get me wrong there. Definitely use them, but use caution. There is nothing worse than getting cut with a razor. Same thing with your fish. The other thing I notice is, I don't know about you, but my fish like to come up and beg. They're all over my hands while I'm in there. So if you're in there and you got your razor in your hand and you're scraping on the wall, pay attention to where your fish are. You don't want them to accidentally get cut by that razor, because that will seriously mess them up too. Okay, so the last thing here is really the most important, because I tend not to think about it, especially from the freshwater side, is just getting any of the water on your hands. Now, it's not that bad of a deal, but if you've got open cuts, which I often do, or your fingers are torn up, like here, I don't know if you can see very well, and I got a pretty major cut here on my hand, on my finger the other day, and you do not want to get that in the water. Now, this goes for both freshwater and saltwater. Don't get your hands in the water if you have open cuts or sores on them. Nothing is worse than fish tank water. It is just chock full of bad stuff. That's all there is to it. So don't risk infection by doing that. Wear gloves, or don't get your hands in the water. And if you do have to get your hands in the water for some reason, make sure you wash them really well afterwards. Soap, warm or hot water, and it wouldn't hurt to throw some peroxide on there just to be safe. So anyways, I think that's about it for this one. Yeah. So just be safe, wear gloves, spend a little bit extra money for some of the supplies you might need, and trust me, you will be really thankful if you don't have to go to the hospital because of some of this stuff. Not trying to scare anybody away from the hobby here. Definitely just something you need to take into account for when you're doing it. Just be safe. Okay, thanks guys for watching. Be sure to subscribe. I'll have more videos coming soon. Have a good day.